Hello everyone, Ken the Bearded Accountant here, and today I want to talk to you about some tools that you can use to help get that cheek line straight, symmetrical, and looking good. The reason that I generally don't give much thought to my cheek line. I've got a very patchy cheek line, so no matter what I do, I'm not going to have a clean, crisp, sharp cheek line. Because of that, I usually give little to no thought about maintaining my cheek line, and more go towards the approach of not trimming much of it away, just enough to keep the upper cheeks clean of that little stubble. But what I found happen was that I was giving it no thought, and all of a sudden a couple weeks ago I had a moment of clarity and took a look in the mirror and noticed that I had brought my cheek line all the way down to here. Over a period of months I just kept on taking it out, and ended up with a big gap that I'm now trying to fill in. So I've got a renewed respect for not messing with that cheek line, and I've got a couple of tools here that I think could be helpful. The first one is the Brink. I first learned about this. No BS Beard Reviews did a video about this. You can find it on Amazon, and it's pretty simple. You put it over your face, and it forms a line. You take your barber's pencil right in the line. Supposedly you've got a perfect outline of where you want your line to be on your cheek. Now, I want to say that this is very dangerous. Just because you stick it on your face doesn't mean you've got a good line. What can happen is this can be askew, and if you just stick it on your face, draw the lines, and then trim accordingly, you might find yourself a little cockeyed. I've used this before and written in the lines, and luckily it took a moment to take a look at it and found that it was a mess. So what I'd say, if you're going to use this Brink, and it's a great tool, you can find it on Amazon, is I wouldn't worry as much about getting it to line up exactly with where you want your line to be, but rather making sure that you set this up so that you're positive that you've got it lined up straight. Whether it's a little above your natural line, below, whatever you have to do to just get a reference point that can be relied on. So I'm not going to do this on camera because there's no way I can get it, but what I'm going to do is draw in the lines, do my best to get them set up good, and then I'm going to show a second technique that can be used, another tool, and we'll see how they measure up against one another. Okay guys, I've got the Brink on. I've tried to get a feel for whether it's straight by feeling the distance between my thumb and my ear on this side and my thumb and my ear on this side, and I wrote in some lines. Now if you look, they're not perfect, but they're close. Now another technique that came to us, care of Tiki, he's another reviewer, he suggested using a CD. Now for me, I thought Aladdin was the way to go. The thing I like about this approach, if you take this and look directly through it, so your eyeball is right in the middle, and then fold it down, you're going to come up with a good line. So this gives you an idea that my line, you see I've got two lines here, and it came out to one line. This matched up perfectly with the Brink, which shows that I screwed up when I used the Brink. Let me do it again and get a more defined line. So I've got to tell you, as far as reliability, I almost think the CD is the way to go, because if you're lining it up with your eyeball, the line is going to go from the center of the CD out that distance. With the Brink, you can really screw things up. You can really get it wrong. So I've got my lines here. I'm not going to go exactly with these lines, but I'm going to use them as a guide. As I said, I've got a very patchy beard on the lines. So even in a couple months after I pay attention to what I'm doing and let it grow back in, it's still going to look kind of crappy. Okay guys, I'm back. I went ahead and used my straight razor to clean up my lines. As you can see, I have very weak lines. And I've got very sparse here coming in here, but my recollection is that when I let it grow, it was a reasonable line. Now, once this grows in, it's still going to look like there's a bit of a patch there, but it won't be so pronounced. There will be some hair there. So a lot of times with these lines, we do it over time. It wasn't one night, had a few drinks and decided to line up your cheek lines. I spent months just chopping away, and probably little by little, a hair there I shouldn't have taken, a whisker there I shouldn't have taken, and ended up almost a full inch below where I should have been. As I said, I've got two tools here. The Brink, which you can find on Amazon in any CD. It might seem so cool to have like a line as opposed to just a circle on the side of your face, but as I mentioned before, you don't necessarily want to create a line that is exactly where you want it. You want to create a reference point so that you can make sure both sides of your cheek line are symmetrical. Something else you can do, find points on your face that you can use to measure. I have a low cheek line, relatively speaking, but I mean, if you're, sticking your fingers at the corner of your mouth, are your lines matching up with the fingers? Find reference points. Here are the two tools. This one, if you've got one laying around, is going to be cheaper than this one, and this is my preference. You would think, look at that, Ken, you're going to have perfect lines. No, I would have completely jacked up lines. So I hope this was helpful. If you think I did a good job, hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit that notification bell, and hit that subscribe button. Catch you on the next one.